The thing that I am confused about with her is that right now she feels much more motivated by the harm that has been done to people in Piltover than she does by the harm being done to people in the lanes. I mean, listen, Jinx was making points. The gas is crazy. Crazy, stupid podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if this is your first time watching, we'd love it if you could hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell so that you are aware of when we post things.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crazy Stupid Podcast. My name is Esther.
And I'm Adrian.
We are here today to talk about the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Arcane. Long awaited.
Oh my goodness. What has it been, like 3 years?
The story has expanded quite a bit. The story is way more complicated, I'm realizing, in season 2. There's things that they did introduce last season, but they weren't really factors yet. It was just kind of like, okay, I see that's going to be a thing. But now all of it, there's so many different branches in the storyline now. Like after this 3rd episode, I was like, do I know what's going on? There's Mel and her mom. And I guess now we know that her mom is also the person she is the person responsible for the attack at the funeral. And it seemed as though Mel is catching on. She knows that her mom wants Hex Tech, and she knows that her mom wants to ensure that there is a war between Piltover and Zaun so that she can get her hands on Hex Tech weaponry to use against these other people, which... What's that? They don't seem like they somebody need to be trifling with. I'm not gonna hold you. What is that? There is also whatever's happening with the Hex Tech now.
Hey man.
Whatever that was, I didn't look good. Don't like it at all. That didn't look good. I'm digging the new alliances that we're seeing. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Jinx and Savika, I love that. All right, I guess we could just jump right in it then. I think Caitlyn started off with good intentions, but I do think she was tokenizing Vi just a little bit, because we already seen hints of her, I guess you could call it like nationalism kind of kicking in at certain points where she couldn't accept the reality of Piltover's role in what they had done to the underworld, to Zaun in a number of spaces. Like it felt like there was like this sort of re-educating Vi had to constantly walk her through, and this idea of like, you're not like the other ones. I don't know, that felt like some clear xenophobia kind of kicking in. But then when she asked Vi to be a police officer, that also was like, nah, bro. I don't think she understands the optics of what that would look like. Yeah, but then Vi did it, which I was like, girl. Well, that was going to lead to my second point, which is what bothered me. It's like, what were you thinking? What we saw from her in the first season was a genuine desire to make things better. Though she's not revolutionary, okay? Like she's still thinking through the lens of like the systems that we have in place with this government and our law enforcement, and like through that lens, like what can we do to like better this situation and to get rid of these very bad actors that we have in Zaun that are clearly taking advantage of the people of Zaun. And she does intervene on multiple points to try to stop them from sending in mass amounts of enforcers that she knows would victimize everybody down there. Even when Vi was not in danger. As soon as Vi aligned herself with Caitlyn, it really did remove her from the immediate danger of the impacts of what would happen down there, because she wasn't like, she went in front of the council, you know what I mean, like it placed her in like this weird in between space. I just think when Caitlyn's mom died, it was just like all bets are off. I think she's just very rageful and she is grieving and she can't see beyond that. And I do not think she necessarily dislikes all the people of Zaun, but I think that she is just one track minded right now. And it's like, I have to get Jinx no matter what it takes, no matter the costs. It's hard for me to see that Caitlyn saw them as fully human. The language that she's using, it's such a strong pendulum swing after losing your loved one. I'm not trying to downplay losing your mom, but I do feel like all of your empathy should not cease to exist. Obviously, there's underlying bias that I don't think could have been helped. I think based on her upbringing.
Yeah.
That's always been my read on her. On a lot of the characters. I think she is a product of her environment. I think what I respected about her character in season 1, though, was that even given that, she did at multiple points jeopardize her own well-being and her own future and her own reputation and go against what she had been taught to believe and do from all of these powerful people in her life.
Yeah.
And decide to try to find a pathway forward that seemed good to her. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't necessarily, for me, I'm not completely erasing her perspective shift. I do think, though, that grief and rage are powerful emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think like the bias doesn't disappear overnight.
Yeah.
So like, yes, I think that is also at play. It makes it easier.
Okay.
To make this shift.
That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
It felt very easy for that shift to take place. Mm-hmm. I think that's the difference.
But the thing is, I feel like that about Vi. I'm mad confused. She is not thinking about Zaun really at all. This is solely about Jinx for her. And truthfully, it always has been. Vi was never thinking big picture that entire time. She was always solely focused on, I'm just trying to get to powder.
I don't know. This feels different.
The thing that I am confused about with her is that right now, to me, she feels much more motivated by the harm that has been done to people in Piltover than she does by the harm being done to people in the lanes. Because, I mean, listen, Jinx was making points. The gas is crazy. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And you wearing the uniform of the people that took out your parents is wild.
That's why I'm very confused, because for me, what I always understood about Vi in season 1 was it was always just about getting to powder and trying to get her back and making sure that the people responsible for what happened to her and you and Vander paid. Mm-hmm. And that was what motivated you. I'm honestly really confused. It does seem really jarring that she is now all of a sudden like, we gotta get her. We gotta get Jinx.
I think this isn't her sister anymore. This is a different person. I think prior she felt like she could save her sister Powder. I think she feels in a certain way a sense of betrayal that she's getting from Jinx. You're not my sister anymore. And I think she feels like she was robbed of a sort of reunion that she had sort of been holding on to for years.
Yeah, I could see it, because I think maybe what it is, the reason why her motives are hard to understand and who she's truly aligned with right now hard to understand is because she's untethered now that she cannot fight for powder.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really know where she belongs either. Because that was the thing. I was like, girl, why are you so concerned about these people up top? I don't understand why.
Is she concerned about them up top, or is she just concerned about Caitlyn?
I mean, maybe it's just Caitlyn, but even that seems like a very strong, it's like, listen, you just met her. I don't know. This is your home. This is your family.
Listen, love
these are the
is
people
blind. It doesn't take that long for love to kick in. Okay.
And the thing that I'm really confused about is that Ekko's got a whole thing going. Her politics were never very defined, and it was never her main motivator.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And she was always willing to align herself with whoever she could to get the revenge that she wanted to. Because even in season 1, she aligned herself with Jace. She takes the Piltover hex deck and goes down there. So she never was somebody who was above aligning herself with Piltover's systems of power in order to achieve a very personal goal for her.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, this seems out of character, writers. But now that the more we talk about it, I'm like, I don't think it is.
I think Vi fooled herself into thinking that she had, quote unquote, converted Caitlyn quicker than she actually did.
It could be that. I also think, in the same way that Caitlyn is operating out of grief and rage, Vi is too. Like, neither one of them are making very informed and thought out decisions because both of them are in places of extreme hurt. Vi is definitely grieving Powder. Now that she's officially lost her.
Yeah.
And now she's also facing the reality of having to, for some reason, she has decided she has to be the one to get her. That part to me, I'm like, girl, get somebody else to do it. But you can't
pull that trigger, girl, be honest.
She has taken this upon herself, I guess, as some sort of means of closure. I don't know.
I don't think she's being honest. I don't think you actually believe that Powder is gone. I think you still want one final moment to see if you can change her back.
Caitlyn being made the general,
she gone.
Also, she
gone.
I also think Medarda thinks she can control her, and I'm like, friend, I don't think you can.
No.
I don't think that's going to work out in your favor.
There is an arrogance to Mel's mom that I think you about to learn the hard way. And it seemed as though her arrogance has gotten the best of her before, with this hint of what happened with Mel's brother.
Well, it sounds like her brother had the same arrogance and his arrogance got the best of him.
Yeah, maybe it just runs in the family. I don't know if it's a reach, but it's hard for me to not think about this. I find it very interesting how this entire season has been very centered on how Piltover has been reacting to the loss and suffering that they've been experiencing. But at no point has there been any self-reflection from the bulk of the council and from the bulk of the people involved.
I think I know what you're about to say.
I don't want to say the word because I know how TikTok gets. They've censored a couple of our videos when we've done it. All I'm saying is it reminds me of a particular conflict that exists not in the Western hemisphere of this world and something that took place a year ago in between September and November.
Lord have mercy. I just hate that we have to censor ourselves. That's so silly.
I'm not saying that it could be, but I'm just saying that's kind of what it feels like. And I do recall a lot. I remember last year feeling like I was being gaslit into saying, yes, I understand that thing that shall not be named happened and is a very horrific thing, but why are we acting like this is the beginning of the conversation?
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, how I think that there is a lot of overlap in this conversation. And honestly, I feel like there's a number of conflicts that you could bring up. I think there's a number of instances in history where very similar dynamics have played out.
Yeah.
Where like essentially they're so focused on getting Jinx, but like Jinx is a monster of their own making.
Yes.
Like she exists because of the actions that you guys have taken in the past and because of the inaction that you guys have taken in the past. That is the only reason why someone like her exists at all. And like this lack of self-reflection and understanding that like we have put ourselves in this position. And so now we have to find a better way to solve it. Definitely reminds me heavily of what's happening there right now. And also I can think of a number of instances across history where a very powerful entity, country, government has through their own oppressive policies and systems created a movement that is dangerous and is violent and is doing things that are harming innocent people, and also is acting in resistance to very harmful things that have been done to them. Like both of those things are true.
I think the thing with Heimerdinger, that initially he annoyed me a little bit last season because it was like
he still irritates me.
I know, but like you've been made aware of the product of the system that you played a major role in creating. On the one hand, I feel like he's going out the weak way out and just like leaving it and then just trying to do something on a very like micro level.
I mean, he was forced out, to be fair.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think on the other hand, I think Heimerdinger realizes this system that I created is out of my control now. I think he realizes there's not that much that I can do. I
think the thing that irritates me about his character is not necessarily his character. I think it's the show itself does not seem critical of his character. And that's, I think, what bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like that. It's like, it feels like this gaping hole to me where it's like, we're just supposed to be like, look at this kooky, short, little, goofy, fuzzy guy. Look at him. Look at him. He's silly. He's down there blowing bubbles for the children.
Even though he literally kind of helped create this low-key apartheid state, to be quite honest. Like,
yeah, like that. I think that's the thing that bothers me is it's like I feel like and the characters in the show are not critical of him.
I'm like Ekko. Why are you so buddy with Heimerdinger? Like, it is your oppressor. Run away.
Where is the anger? Where is the rage? But this is the thing that I think is the problem with a lot of the people in Zon. They do not have enough rage directed at Piltover. They are all very caught up in the intra issues happening down there, and because even Ekko last season, love you. You built up this whole thing. You're taking care of people. Love it. Never once though were those fireflies going up there trying to take out the enforcers or trying to you were not playing that game. Nobody was.
Yeah.
The only person who kind of sort of ish was Silco, but
there
not
we
really.
go. Yeah.
But
Come on board the train.
But not really, though. But not really.
You know what this means? This means no more African diasporas, guys. We need to focus our attention on the real oppressors, okay?
No, it's not even that. Really, the more applicable conversation right now is leftists, liberals,
Oh, God.
progressives, all this post-election dialogue that we're having. Just
Yeah.
why did the Latinos vote for Trump? Why did they
Lock in.
the third party voters?
Just
Why did
time.
get it?
Lock in.
Zone in.
It's time to lock in.
We got a big thing coming.
Lock in.
We need to get it together.
I'm sorry. If you needed a deeper understanding of the word coalition building, it's right now. Right now. This is why we need more rap beefs, because I felt like it distracted us.
We don't need distraction
from
right now.
Yeah, but I feel like it caused less division. Kendrick, where you at, man? I need something else.
I don't think it caused less division. The people who were really into the rap beef were very divided.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like it was getting into the space where like it was going to result in who you going to vote for. Like, I feel like it just chronically stayed online.
I personally think that there might be a correlation between the people who supported Drake and the beef and the people who are more or less critical of Donald Trump.
What kind of tinfoil hat shit you got going on?
I think that there is a correlation there.
I'm going to need to see the data here because I don't.
The data is anecdotal.
Oh my God.
Think about your friends.
But I do have Drake friends that voted not
Yes.
for Trump.
No, I'm saying the people that are less critical. Like, like there's people who are
I don't like thinking about this. I'm not. Look, I know people got their beef with Silco. All I'm saying was when Buddy was gone, Stuff and Zong went left real quick.
Yeah, and that is the sign of terrible leadership.
All right, fair point. But all I'm saying is I feel like we got to just put a little bit of respect on how he was kind of holding. All right, I'm not trying to gas him up because he didn't need to do that. I feel like Vander was doing a much better job. But there was at least a vision where even if not everyone in Zon could fully get on board with where Silco was going, there was a sense of one accord existing to an extent that I feel like is desperately lacking right now, where even Jinx is kind of like, just watch it all burn down. Like, who cares?
I respect what Silco did in the end. I respect the deal that he was able to make. Mm. Now, I do think that thing was going to blow up anyway because he was not about to get no sleep with Jinx. So I don't actually think that he truly accomplished what it seems he accomplished, because he was unalive before we saw that to fruition. Credit where credit's due, okay? But I just think the fallout from him being gone is a result of his poor leadership. He was not a unifying leader. He was not unifying people behind a vision for anything. Yeah. He was power hungry. These people are obviously not motivated by any sort of liberation minded vision. Mm-hmm. Okay? Which tells me they never were. Okay, so all of this was brewing the whole time.
I agree, but I do often wonder, maybe it wasn't weeks or years, maybe it would have taken a couple of decades. I do wonder though how long Vander's vision was sustainable, because there was already a general sense of growing resentment, growing even while he was in power.
I agree with you. Well, I don't think Vander was ever in power.
I mean,
not in the same
way, not in a dictatorial way, but he was seen as a unspoken leader.
I'm not saying Vander was right. To me, I feel like they were both wrong. They were both on opposite sides of this spectrum. Yeah. But in a way that the spectrum curves, and they actually are kind of the same. I just think they both were doing it. We're not doing what they needed to do. Yeah. But I have a little bit more respect for Vander because of the limits that he put on what he was willing to sacrifice.
That's fair. Apparently Victor's Moses now.
The imagery was going crazy.
Yeah, the moment.
the the staff,
Yeah.
the
Piltover
wrath.
Jesus.
I'm like, it's giving Prince of Egypt right now.
Let my people go. I had a couple of thoughts, but I'm curious to know what you thought.
That's a lot of power for one person to have. And you already have a lot of different parties of people vying for control down there. Based on what we've seen in the trailer, it looks like Jinx is going to become some of like a very central figure to people. But what Viktor's got going on is going to mess things up, and it's dangerous. And we don't really understand Viktor right now. Like he's clearly not the same.
No.
And the Viktor from before was from my reading, a very empathetic and a very optimistic, forward-thinking person that was always keeping in mind the most downtrodden individuals and always trying to think, how can we move towards a better future? I don't know what vibes I was picking up from this Viktor, but it wasn't quite that.
There's an unsettlingness there.
There is.
I do think how quickly they sort of propped him up as a messianic figure makes sense, because the people down there, Piltover had been neglecting them for decades upon decades.
And those people are people who have been neglected by Zahn, too.
Yeah. And so you have this one person who finally comes around, who sees you, who gives you exactly what you need. I don't think it's not the first time we've seen that, and even in real life's history, where a person comes along at the right moment and gives a very downtrodden group of people exactly what they want, and they give a sort of undying sort of devotion to this individual.
I mean, low-key, that's what happened with Trump.
I didn't want to call him Trump because I feel like he's a much better person than Trump, but it's very similar. The feelings, there's overlap.
That type of attachment is very similar.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what he does.
Maybe they pull a 180 and nothing bad happens and he just keeps healing people.
Well, no, I think the issue is he doesn't have to do anything bad to make it bad.
Sure.
Like any person, that type of cult-like following is just not good. It's just not good. It never goes well. It's always bad. I also am thinking now, I'm kind of like, when he kept hearing the voice, I'm like, part of me is like, maybe Skye was not unalive by the hex tech. Maybe she became the hex tech. Like low-key,
or like her consciousness is in there.
He keeps seeing her.
Yeah.
He keeps hearing a voice that I think is her.
Yeah, it is. Well, because remember, he sees a little ghost figure of her after he heals that one guy. Yeah.
So now part of me is like, maybe she's in there.
I don't know, but that kind of sentient life is terrifying to me.
But it explains like why it would attach itself to him, because she really liked him. It explains why it would heal him.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Only thing I was thinking about is the animation in Arcane is just
so freaking good. And I love what they have started doing, where they spend those first couple minutes in like this like
a different animated style.
Yeah, it feels like a music video. At the beginning of every episode, I'm like, what music video is it going to be this time?
Yeah. This is why, again, we've said this before, especially with anime and with Across the Spider-Verse, certain things will always be better animated.
Yeah, don't come at me in 5 years talking about live action
Arcane. No,
I don't
boy,
wanna hear it.
It's for the birds. Leave that alone. Nobody want that. Move.
It'll never live up. You will never be able
that.
to recreate this in all of its beauty.
And every time someone says that, it feels disrespectful. It feels like you think that animation is insufficient.
I think that there are a lot of stories, specifically like more fantasy-esque stories, that are probably better told via animation because it is so much easier to recreate these otherworldly elements and not have it look kooky and wonky and the CGI, and now everybody's complaining about the CGI and the there are elements in this story that like you could not recreate with any sort of real believability within live action. I just don't think so. It wouldn't be as visually pleasing.
I would agree 100%. 100%.
Yeah. There's so many like book adaptations that I think about that I'm like, y'all are going to do a live action, but really y'all should do an animated series. Like truthfully, Children of Blood and Bone,
You think that should be like an anime?
I think that would eat as an animated series. I think that would eat so bad. I mean, I'm going to watch it whatever they do because I like the books, even though that last book was a little disappointing, but it's okay.
Anyways, y'all, we would love to hear your thoughts about season 2 Arcane part 1, first 3 episodes. Let us know in the comments below. We always are excited to hear the conversations that you guys bring to the Discord here. And with that, we will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Peace.